Good evening, everyone. This is Mike. Welcome back to my channel, and I'd like to do a couple of responses to some film community chat topics that were introduced in the last couple of days. So I apologize to my friends for not being around YouTube um, for about a week. A friend of mine's been in the hospital, and I've been spending all my time there, and it's been pretty intense. But we're cautiously optimistic. So before this happened, I was getting way behind watching everybody's videos that I try to keep up with, people I try to follow, and uh, and since this happened, I am hopelessly behind. So I'm trying to catch up. And I can't remember the last time I even watched a movie on television. Yeah, DVD or something. It's been a long time. But here we are. So there are two chat topics that came up, and I think I'll do Jay Harvey's first. Jay Harvey, also known as Blu-ray Collector 1971, introduced a chat topic about streaming. And he said he hates it. Jay hates streaming. So I thought I'd talk about that first. My experience with the video streaming, which is becoming so popular and so pervasive, is very limited. I did belong to Netflix maybe 7, 8, 9 years ago. I'm not sure, but it was when they remember when they doubled their subscription price. What was that, in 2008? Was it maybe something like that? And that's when I dropped it. I was with it for about a year or so, and I was getting the DVDs in the mail, and it was a good service. I enjoyed it. I think I got maybe less than 10 DVDs from them. At the time that I dropped out, I was trying to watch the entire TV series called Thriller, which was hosted by Boris Karloff back in 1959, 1960, I believe, which is something I remember watching way back in the day. It was a great series. So I was very happy that they had it. And they were sending me these DVDs. I think I got maybe 2 or 3 of them before I canceled them. I was also watching a few things on my computer, my 17-inch monitor laptop. I was watching some old TV shows like Cheyenne, the old Western from the 50s and 60s, and maybe a few other things. And I enjoyed it. I really did. It was just the price that made me stop it. And I never went back. The only other streaming thing that I ever tried out was Hulu. Back about the same time when it was free. I don't know if Hulu was free anymore. I haven't been back to that site for years. But I was looking around there and watching a few things. So I was kind of interested. But as far as streaming goes now, I don't do it. I don't feel like I'm missing anything. I have no idea. People talk about all this wonderful stuff on Netflix, and maybe it is wonderful, and maybe I am missing some good shows. But I don't feel like it's that important to join in. Now, I may very well sign up for CBS All Access at the beginning of 2020 because they are going to be showing the new Star Trek series, Star Trek Picard with Patrick Stewart, and I'm really interested in seeing that. I've kind of let my Star Trek fanboy stuff lapse a little bit, and I haven't been into Star Trek for a while like I was several years ago. So, but I'm very interested in seeing what they're going to do with this. I mean, Jerry Ryan's going to be in it. Some of the people from the Next Generation are going to be joining Patrick Stewart. So it looks like it might be a lot of fun, and it will be a group thing that all the Star Trek fans that I'm associated with will be talking about. So I kind of want to join in. So depending on how much it costs, I'll give it a shot. If it turns out I don't like the show, then I guess I'll drop it. But yeah, so I may join the streaming generation. I agree with everything that Jay said. I agree with everything that Harry and Ian said about it. There are good and bad points to it. I love physical media. I'm not going to stop collecting. I don't really like the trend of physical media is supposed to be going away and all this sort of thing. But in a way, it doesn't affect me as much as it does a lot of people who collect newer stuff, because I'm not as interested in newer films. If the whole industry stops making DVDs and Blu-rays of current films, let's say from the last 5 years and going forward, I don't think that I would be that upset, really, because I like to buy older stuff and more obscure stuff, and I think that's probably going to be around for a while. There are a lot of, some of these things have already been made. There are supplies of them out there, and I think I'm babbling here. I'm not even sure I'm making any sense, but streaming is not something that I really care about. Jay brought up the film Looking for Mr. Goodbar, which came out in 1977. And a very good film, by the way, which I don't think is available anywhere on any kind of home video. I don't think I've ever seen it. It may have been out on VHS at one time. I don't know. Very good movie. And he said that he went back to watch it the second time and it wasn't there. So that's a good reason not to rely on streaming. I think it should be. I think for something like me, it would be something that would be supplemental to my life as a collector. Now, there are a lot of movies that I go to see at the theater that I really enjoy in this day and age. For example, I went to see Ad Astra, the new Brad Pitt science fiction film. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I have no desire to own it on DVD or Blu-ray. I don't know why that is. I liked it very much. I went to see The Martian a couple of years ago with Matt Damon. Loved it. Really loved the movie. And I've never bought that on home video either. And again, I can't explain why. But maybe someday I will if it's incredibly cheap. It was a very good movie. But there are some movies that I do see at the theater that, yeah, I definitely want to collect them. But I guess that's really all I want to say about it. I don't hate streaming. I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed when a lot of these different offerings like Netflix and all the other stuff, I'm not even sure what the other ones are, but they seem to be competing for everybody's dollars, and the prices are going up. And if people want all these, it's going to be hard if you like several different genres and several different groups of shows and all that, because they're going to be all these different services, and you're going to have to subscribe to every single one of them. So that's going to get very expensive. I'm happy collecting. I'm not going to stop. It's just not going to change for me. So the next chat topic, thank you, Jay, for joining in. I appreciate your introducing that topic. Let's see. The next topic was about our friends James and Ian, the DVD collector in 1974, and all things film. These guys who've been doing videos on YouTube for a long time and are proud members of our little Facebook group, Film Appreciation Group. Ian had made an announcement on Facebook that he and James are going to retire about after the end of this year or shortly after the beginning of 2020. They have this massive project that they're planning for 1001 of their favorite movies, and after that they were going to collapse from exhaustion and never be on YouTube again or something like that. So Harry, I wasn't happy to hear that. I mean, none of us were. They've threatened to retire from YouTube many times because they just sort of start doing too much and they burn themselves out, as James put it. And Harry Benson made a video really lamenting the fact that these guys might actually leave YouTube. So now it seems like they're changing their minds, I guess, because of public opinion, which I'm very glad to hear, because I don't want to see these guys go. They've been around for a long time. They've inspired the hell out of me on many, many occasions to get involved, jump back in after I've been off for a while, because I have a tendency to just drop out of YouTube because I just don't come up with that many good ideas on my own, and I usually get back in because somebody else comes up with an idea. For example, I'm getting back into it today because these guys came up with these ideas for chat topics, and it's something I'm interested in. So I'm very happy to come back and do this. About retiring from YouTube, I've never really considered it. It's just something that I've fallen into the groove of doing, but I don't do it that often, as often as a lot of people do. I don't think I can make videos every day. I just don't think I could do. Have I ever done that? I don't think I have really. A couple of years ago. I was doing a Halloween countdown, and I was doing the Roger Corman, Edgar Allan Poe films. I don't think I did them every day. Maybe I did them every week or something. I can't remember, but I've never been quite that energetic or creative. I don't come up with a lot of good ideas. However, I am thinking about ripping off an idea from my friend Bob Harrison, the guy that lives up in Canada under an igloo or something like that. Bob Harrison has a series of movies that he watches every week. He does it. Well, I think he does it about every week, and it's just showing and talking about what he has watched during that week. And I think I might do something like that. Just do a video film diary, and take either a week or several days, and just talk about the variety of films that I watch, because it's usually a very eclectic group of movies that are back to back, and it just give me a chance to talk about films. James also brought up the fact that he's tried to start a blog and just can't continue with it. He kind of loses interest. I've tried to start, oh wow, I started the blog on WordPress about a year ago, maybe more than a year ago, did absolutely nothing with it, then finally started trying to do something with it, and it is so pathetic that I finally just said, I can't stand looking at this, and I canceled it. It's still up because it's I paid for it, and the time hasn't run out yet. But after a certain amount of time, it will just disappear, which is fine with me. So then I decided to try one on Blogger, and I did that, got started with it, hated it, canceled that, and now I've started another one on Blogger. And it's just kind of hanging there in cyberspace with just the home page. But it's something I would like to do. I'd like to. I guess I always felt like I wanted to do some writing. Every once in a while, I get inspired to do some writing on my letterbox page, and it goes well for a few days or maybe a week or so, and then I completely lose my inspiration and drop out for a while. But I do keep the film diary, and I'm always hoping I'll go back and get that spark of life back in my head again, my diseased brain, as Ian was nice enough to remind everybody. So maybe that's something else I'll start working on. Okay, I've blabbed on for 12 minutes. Thanks for listening, and thank you to Harry and Jay for introducing the chat topics. Big shout out to James and Ian. So glad you're not retiring. I understand that one Zig Ziggerson has re-emerged into the spotlight. That's very sad, but we can cope. I can always hide in my coffin. It's right there waiting for me. Good night.